G'day, everybody. Welcome back to the Ball Logic NBA SuperCoach podcast. I'm your host, Braino, joined in the studio by the horse who, firstly, well, let's just talk about his rank, shall we? 31st overall, mate. Absolutely flying.
Deadly. Someone knows ball and it's not you.
You heard that? You heard it. You heard it.
So
and it's good.
It's the one time I'm ever going to be able to do it. So just let Horse have this little one.
Yeah. No, I enjoy it. Usually he tries to kind of fob it off and say, "Oh no, it's all right. It's a team game." But take your flowers, mate. Enjoy it. Enjoy it for the week before I overtake you in round 19. Okay. We've also got no Matrix. So no beers on the podcast tonight. It's going to feel weird without that. But we've got Flanders. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm good. It's good to be on the SuperCoach platform here as well. Obviously, coming from AFL SuperCoach and doing a bit of the fantasy this year, but good to jump on here and special guest in for the week with no Matrix.
Yeah, he's away doing a wine tour in the Hunter Valley. Yeah. So what a surprise!
We didn't give him the memo, but he got the lowest score this week.
Oh yeah, Clown Week. Yeah.
We'll have to around here.
We'll have to organise a clown week to get to everybody's houses. That was an oversight by us. Good old Amazon.com might get a workout over the next week. Horse still doesn't have one, probably because he doesn't come last ever. Look at that rank. You probably don't need one all year.
No, you're not going to need it.
Give it time. Give it time. I'm just riding my luck at the moment.
Look, quick little wrap up on how we went last week. 12-12 Horse. That's got to be a top 100 score for the week. I think we saw that the highest score was in the 1300s from memory.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So it was 300th overall for the week, up 25 spots this week into 31st. Looking at team value, I'm at 193.5 mil now. So happy with the way that my rookies are generating cash. But I guess the difference for me was playing Queen. So I bought Queen last week and put him straight on field and had Jeremiah Fears as well there. And Giannis was the killer. So he only scored 16, but I'm in no different boat to anyone else. The majority of the community had Giannis, so we just all had to wear that one on the chin. But yeah, a couple of pods this week that we're looking at, which we'll discuss a bit later on.
Flanders, how was your week, mate? 1101, still a respectable score. Still, I'm assuming Green Arrows?
Yeah, still Green Arrows, mate. Yeah, 2281 for the week rank for me, and made myself nearly into the top 2K here. So just chipping away, moving my way back up after a poor week one. I was pretty good. Scotty Barnes was probably a bit underwhelming for what I expected here, and got caught up in the Cedric Coward bit of a mess there with 42, having to take that with the Giannis 16. So that's probably a little bit of a difference there, and no Derek Queen. So. But no, we pivot, we move, and we boost this week too.
Absolutely. I'll be boosting this week as well. And I was also in the no Queen camp. Certainly no King activity over here. It was, no good. No without Queen. But I'm going to fix that mistake this week. He is the first guy that I'm getting in this week. If you don't own him, I would suggest you do the same. 11-22 for me. So, slight Green Arrows. Not much, but enough. I ended up buying Scotty Barnes. Who else did I buy last week? Jalen Johnson. And from memory, who else did I get? I think I fixed a rookie error and I got Ace Bailey back in. So I'll just leave him there to continue to do his thing over the next few weeks. It'll be a slow burn, but I'm pretty confident he can be a 10 mil guy, Ace Bailey. So now that he's got the start as well, Horse, he looks pretty good now that he's starting to kind of, get into his work.
Yeah, I think it'll take a little bit of time, but the fact that he's starting, Utah aren't there to win anything this year, so he's going to get some good burn. A little bit of an oversight as well. I did bring in Tyrese Maxey last week as well.
Yeah, that was a good play. That was nice by you. I ended up getting Scotty Barnes instead, so you got a few points on us there, but that's why you're 31st, isn't it? So making all the right moves, and you got to ride your luck when you get it. When you start making the right calls, you got to run with it. Guys, hit the subscribe button if you can. We would appreciate that if you haven't yet and you're new here. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future shows. Give it a thumbs up if you like the content as well. We would really appreciate that. You can, I suppose, you can even hop to the right of the comments and click the little hype button. It does help us get the show out to more people on YouTube. And for those of you listening on audio after the fact, hit that follow button, leave us a 5-star review. Now, the Unlimited League winner, the Ball Logic winner for the week, the top scorer for week 5, as my screen loads slowly, is Goodnight Gamalit by Johnny. So congratulations, Johnny, with a 13-17 this week. Gets himself into 13th overall as well. So this is no sniper team. This guy's been grinding. So he had Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Jokic captain, Scotty Barnes, Knipple, Queen, and Jalen Johnson on court. So he really didn't get much wrong last week. So shout out to Johnny. Takes him into 13th overall, and we do need... I can't help myself. We do need to shout out the overall actual winner for the week. It'd be rude of us not to. We don't usually do this, but I'm making an exception this week. The round 5 team of the week is... his name is Barry McCockiner. So congratulations. Congratulations to Barry, one of the all-time best team names. I'm really impressed that SuperCoach haven't just called your team John or whatever your name is. So you've managed to slide that one through. Congratulations, Barry McCockiner, for a 13-19. That's a good one. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love that. Let's talk. Oh my God, that's a good one. I enjoyed that. Let's have a chat about who's hot for the coming week. Where are the stingers? I'm all over the place. This is why I'm hot. We're good. We got the show before. We did the fantasy preview, the show before this basically, and Horse was making up words left, right, and centre. I can't find the stingers. It's been an absolute tragic night so far on Ball Logic, but we'll get better from here, I promise. Flanders, Nikola Jokic, mate, 182. I'm assuming anybody who got more than 1,000 points this week would have captained Jokic, or anybody with half a brain would have anyway. Is he an automatic captaincy option, even on a 3-game week? Like, this week is the perfect example to use this. Would you captain him this week?
Yeah, I think it's too risky to not. I think he's a pretty safe option where he's probably going to keep putting up the same scores week in, week out. If like anyone else, is probably at risk of not even hitting what he does on a 3-game week. So I'll be leaving it there, probably playing it a bit safe. There's probably someone who's going to clear him, but I'm not willing to take the gauntlet on the 1 or 2 guys that may clear him.
Yeah, it's like, what's the upside too, right? Like, you're going to take someone on a 4-game week, you're going to get an extra, 15, 20 points? Really? Like, you can just lock yourself in a safe 150. Honestly, I reckon there's every chance it's 150. So, I think we're going to be talking about Jokic every week as one of the top scorers for the rest of the season for good reason. Tyrese Maxey, though, Horse, you nailed this one, mate. 149 he got last week. He had a monster of a game. I think he ended up with, 61 points? Highest score by a guard this year?
Yep, bang on. He was unbelievable. And, he's a smaller guard, so he came back to earth a little bit with a 24 today. Davion Mitchell, you brought it up last week. He's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. But you look ahead this week, he's got Orlando, Brooklyn, and Atlanta. So the 3 matchups, they're very favorable for point guards. He'll be staying this week.
Yeah, rate it. 3-game week, he's great. SGA, also a guy on a 3-game week, you'd more than happily just slot into your team. Of course, it comes down to cash and whether you need that money from SGA to get to a 4-gamer. 148, though, he was big Flanders this week. Have you owned him this year, or are you like me and just fade him all year?
No, I actually rolled with SGA for the first week this week. And yeah, he was good. He was safe. I can't complain. He just did what I needed him to. There was potentially other guys out there like a Maxi that was a better pick. But I was pretty happy putting my money where I did with Shea.
Yeah, you can't go wrong, really, with Shea, with Maxey, with Jokic. These guys are all just proven performers. And SGA doesn't even need to play he doesn't need to play 4 quarters of basketball. Just play 3 and then just blow them out and then sit the 4th. 100%. So there's no injury risk. But yeah, when you're putting up 30, 35 points per game in 3 quarters, then, you can't really argue with that. Jalen Johnson, 136. He was a popular option last week. I'm surprised not more people bought him. He is 10.4% owned at the moment. I assume pretty high owned in the top 5% of teams, but 136 for him. 2 more weeks likely without Trey. It just means 2 more weeks of production, really, doesn't it, Flanders? It's one of those ones where I think as long as Trey's out, JJ is the guy, and JJ is a must-have.
Yeah, JJ is definitely the guy. Obviously, the 3-game week this week isn't ideal with there still being a few 4-game week guys floating around. So trading into him could be something where you could consider some other options. I'm not an owner, so I'm considering the other options before him. But yeah, if you've got him, you wouldn't be moving on from him just to get him back again for week 7 with Trey out for 2 more.
Yeah, that's right. I think this week is a bit of a trap week as well, with a lot of teams on the 3-game week. There's much less amount of teams on the 4-game week this week, so no one is going to have a full starting court worth of 4-game week players this week. So you've just got to pick your battles on who's more important on a 3-gamer to keep, and targeting potentially those mid-price guys we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. Donovan Mitchell, 129. He went big. He's one of those rocks and diamonds guys, isn't he? Some nights he'll come out and he'll shoot 9 from 28, and then the next night he'll shoot 13 from 19, and everything will fall. He's even starting to get the peripheral stats, though, which is the big surprise for me. Usually he's a scorer and like a 4-rebound, 3-assist type guy, but those numbers have taken a bump over the last couple of weeks, and no Garland also helps that.
Massive bump. So I was listening to Bill Simmons during the week, and not as good as Ball Logic, but he's up there. But he brought up a comparison, or not a comparison, but a good little stat that when Donovan Mitchell's playing point guard for any team that he's playing for, it's good for Donovan Mitchell, but it's not good for anyone else. Yeah. So when you're talking about your Mobleys and your Tysons and all that sort of jazz, it's not great for the other players in the side, but it's great for Donovan Mitchell because he's a shoot-first type of player. But you're right, the peripherals are up. So while they're up, you've just got to ride the wave.
You do for sure. And look, the Cavs, they'll come into another 4-game week in week 7, so you can probably hold through this week and play on a 3-gamer if you need to. Shout out to Chris Gray in the chat, thinking that Flanders deleted the app after his team reveal. No, he's back. He's back. Flanders, any rebuttal there?
I didn't delete it. It got hidden off the main screen, but it did return pretty quickly. There's too many sports. Too many sports on SuperCoach to not.
That is true. You can't avoid one sport and play the others. But the two Clippers, Zubac 124, Harden 123. Harden had a bit of a stinker in his 4th game too. I'm a Harden owner, and I felt pretty hard done by there because I thought he was in for probably a 140, 145 kind of game, and that would have maybe evened out the maxi pick that I missed. But not to be, sadly. And Denny Avdia also had an absolute Reggie Tinker of a game today, where he scored 5?
4. Reggie Tinker.
4. Yeah, stinker. Haven't you heard that?
No,
mate. You're a cricketer. You should know these. Things.
I like that.
So, okay, you can have it.
Thank you.
Harden coming into a 3, then another 4-game week is again another guy that you'd happily play on a 3. But in saying that, Flanders, Kawhi back now probably puts a little bit of a dent in that usage.
It does. It is unlikely to need that, that big 55-point game that he did that really sort of held up his week. Like if you look at his week without that, it was 23, 33, 14. So that 53-point like SuperCoach game with 55 points he actually scored really carries the week. So if you get 3 games out of him where he only puts up, say, 85, it could be the difference, especially at the top end of town. That could just be that little difference there. So I wouldn't be chasing to bring him in, but somebody that if you've got him in your case, probably not worth trading out to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, OKC, the guard killers at the moment. So with Denny, obviously they shut him down pretty quickly, but they did it to Harden. Khalil Ware 117, he's back from the dead as well. So Chris Gray in the chat says Flanders is the Undertaker. I don't know. Khalil Ware back from the dead could be the Undertaker after this week. Now that he's starting to finally get a start with Bam at the 4 again, they've gone back to what they knew worked from last year. Horse, do they keep going this way or no?
Don't get sucked in. Tyler Hero back tomorrow. Usage goes through him. His production will drop.
Yeah, good call. All right. Well, we talked about the hot guys. Let's have a chat about the cold ones. Won't harp on these ones too much, but D'Angelo Russell just keeps getting worse. 30. We were pretty high on him in the preseason, not so much now. Jalen Wells also 33. I'm assuming most people jumped off him. I think Flanders, you might have started with him. I'm assuming you probably jumped off pretty quick.
Yeah, he was a week 1 gone for me. Week 1, week 2 gone. I like the idea, but it didn't play out, and bailed on that experiment pretty quickly.
And I've bailed on the Asar Thompson experiment. Fantasy-wise, I still think there's relevance there, but he's going to take a while to... Yeah, I mean, he started a couple of games off the bench too. So I'm just unsure of what that role looks like now. Detroit have been winning too without him in the team, which kind of scares me a little bit on Asar. So, he's going to have to earn his spot back in that starting lineup. Of course, Kevin Durant, he was injured as well, so 25 points for him. Houston coming into another 3, then a 2, so there's just not much going on in Houston there. And Giannis, 16, Braino, 38, the 2 injured guys there that are likely going to be in the top 5 most traded out players, I would naturally assume, come tomorrow. I was going to say come the end of the week. Come tomorrow, because we don't get an end of the week. We get one day to work all of this out. Anything to mention, Horse, on any of those guys?
Not really. Braino, I'm still umming and ahhing as to whether I trade him out. Just, can I use his cash now, or can I be patient, wait for him to come back, make another couple of mil, and then move off him? Still, the people in the Patreon will see our moves anyway.
And that is probably a really good segue into having a chat about the injured guys for this week. Now, we've got a slide. Obviously, can't fit everybody on this slide, but we've got the main talking points here. Stefan Castle, he's out for 1 to 2 weeks for the Spurs, which kind of doesn't really mean a ton for anybody, if I'm completely honest. Flanders, I mean, it's like Julian Champagne, good on him. He gets a little bit of an extra run. Keldon Johnson maybe gets some extra burn there, but no one's Supercoach relevant from the Spurs.
No, nothing particularly, unless anyone feels getting frisky, taking De'Aaron Fox, but you'd be getting them way more wild than I'd be willing to. So, no one of relevance.
Yeah, especially with the Spurs on a 3-gamer, there's not much point looking at that. Darius Garland, toe injury with minimal news coming out of Cleveland. So, for me, that probably makes Jalen Tyson a little bit more enticing. Just looking at, what that lineup could look like. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, like Horse, you mentioned, likely plays point guard. Lonzo Ball hasn't been getting any extra minutes when Garland wasn't playing earlier in the season anyway, so I don't see the bump there. And they need some defense. When they don't have Garland, Donovan Mitchell's a turnstile, and they need a good guard. They need someone that can be fast enough to keep up with the quick guards, and DeAndre Hunter can't really do that. No. So Jalen Tyson seems to be a guy playing that role.
For sure. Yeah.
Supercoach-wise, viable as a downgrade?
I don't mind him, but don't love it. I would be using him as a cash generator more than a on-field option.
Fair enough. All right. What else have we got? Giannis. He's out for, I think it's 1 to 2 weeks. We're talking about, when they get reevaluated as well, which means that Giannis is an absolute sell, 20-odd million, just use the money. I think everyone's going to be using that money now to, if you don't have Queen, you can kind of upgrade, maybe use the Giannis money to get a mid-ranger in, and we'll talk about the mid-rangers later, and then upgrade a shitty bench option if you've got one sitting there to a Derek Queen, and start Queen this week. So that'll get you an extra game on field if you're playing Queen this week, which I'd recommend you do, but... maybe it's a blessing in disguise that Giannis goes down because it's a good reason to move him on. Mm-hmm. We've also got Trae Young out 1 to 2 weeks. We spoke about JJ being the benefit there. DeAndre Ayton, he went off the court. It's a knee injury, Flanders. Did you, Horse and I both missed it. Did you see anything there for DeAndre Ayton?
No, I did miss that one there, but I do think there's going to be some usage there to be found. He's not been high usage, but he has been enough. They're probably going to bring in, say, a Jackson Hayes or something like that, like they did last year back into the lineup. And he's not going to be a big usage guy. So there's going to be more usage to go around. Bron back, Luka and Reeves. I would expect those two to probably distribute that usage.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed. Anthony Davis, he's Anthony Data Davis, basically. It's true to the name. True to the name, Anthony Day-to-Davis, Street Clothes Davis, whatever you want to call him, he is day-to-day, which means that he could play the next game. He might sit, or he probably will sit back-to-backs. So there's just a lot going on there that I don't love. Does this impact anyone, Horse? Does Cooper Flagg take a step backwards in production with Anthony Davis back, or do you think it helps him?
I think it helps him. Yeah. Cooper Flagg is basically the number one at the moment. They're going to Cooper Flagg in the crunch time, and opposition defenses are just swarming him. With Anthony Davis in the side, that takes the pressure off him, and I feel like he will be better with Davis in the side.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And then Ja Morant, 2 to 3 weeks. Look, Vince Williams has been great. The Grizzlies have a 4-game week this week. I'm not actually even sure what he's priced if someone wants to quickly check it.
I'll check
Vince
that.
Williams... Yeah, well, Vince Williams has actually looked really good. Like, it looks like he's getting the boards. The points come when they need to come. The assists are outstanding. What's his price, boys? Anything worth looking at?
6.2 million, and he's gone 22, 20, 21 these last 3 games.
I tell you what, that is very enticing. As someone who spent maybe 30 minutes looking at the app trying to work my trades out, I did not look at him. But I tell you what, once this show finishes, I will be. Nice little downgrade option there as if you're needing someone that's sub 7 mil. On a 4-game week that you could probably comfortably play, that'll put up, 80 points, 70 to 80 points. So, yeah.
Well, if he's going on his average from the last 3 games, yeah, he'll get you 80.
Rate it. Very, very nice. And obviously we know Jar's not going to be back. Jaron Jackson Jr. coming back might take a bit of usage away from him, but I don't think it hurts him that much. Very, very different positions there. So, and Wemby's still out for another week there. Again, we're not talking about Luke Cornett as an option. We're not talking about Harry Barnes as an option. This is SuperCoach. This is not fantasy. So, yeah, we don't need to worry about who's going to get the bump there for Victor Wembanyama. All right, let's move into the weekly preview and have a chat about the schedule.
He's heating up.
Now, in terms of the 2-game weeks and the 4-game weeks, these are the teams to avoid. The Washington Wizards and the Orlando Magic have 2 games this week. We're going to start to see some 2-gamers, Horse, pop up a little bit more frequently over the next few weeks, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. There's one in 2 weeks' time where you've got the majority of teams on 2-game weeks. That'll impact everybody, but yes, it is important to plan ahead.
For sure. Look, Keyshawn George, probably a sit. If you've got him in your team, he's doing fine, but I wouldn't be playing him this week. Pella Benkera's been out, so I'm assuming no one has him. There's probably no one else of relevance really in the Orlando Magic team either. So we can move straight to the 4-game weeks. These are the teams, and there is only 10 out of 30 teams that are on a 4-game week this week. It is Detroit, Indiana, Memphis, Milwaukee, Minnesota, New Orleans, New York, Phoenix, Sacramento, Toronto. Those are the 10 teams that you will be targeting for trades this week. Now, of course, like we said at the start of the show, you're probably not going to be able to fill a full starting court worth of 4-game week players. So just be tactical about the 3 gamers that you're happy to hold and happy to play.
Definitely.
Now, anything to add, boys?
You go, Flanders.
Yeah, only thing to watch out for is when you're picking up these guys that are potentially on a couple of back-to-back 4-game weeks, who's going to play in that big week 8 and who's getting 2s and 3s. Detroit, nice option there, 4-4, but they do go into a 2. Whereas someone like a Minnesota for an Ant over a Cade, 4-4-3, you do get that option as well with New York as well. They go 4-4-3. So just something to keep an eye out on of what you're thinking for that 3rd week, because just having one more primo not to need to move would just be nice.
People are going to get caught out in week 8, man. Like, I genuinely think people are going to struggle in week 8 and go, shit, all of these guys are on a 2. Whereas if you target New York, you target Minnesota, you target Atlanta, like those teams that are playing 3 games in week 8, you're 3 or 4 steps ahead of the rest of the people. So that's probably what I would recommend. That's a good point. Taking Cat over a Duran. Could be an option. We'll talk about both of these guys a little bit later on. But let's have a chat about the hot topic of the week. Hot topic of the week, Horse. It is a ranking the mid-price primos to bring in, and we've got 9 really nice options there. Now, mate, I might throw over to you to kick things off. Where do you want to start? Considering you did this list, you get the pickings.
Cade Cunningham. I personally think he is a must this week. You look at the way that he has fixed up his game, and I'm talking about from a 6'7", 6'8" point guard who just used to chuck shots. Yes, he had a game where he had 45 shots only a couple of weeks ago, but his percentages are much better now. He's got players around him that can shoot. He's now got Duran, who's having a season best or a career best season, finishing around the rim. He's getting boards, he's getting steals, he's getting blocks. He's filling the stat sheet like he has never done before. So even if his jump shot is a little off, he's getting those counting stats that we were talking about before with Donovan Mitchell. And he's got such a good fixture coming up as well. So this is probably my number 1 this week.
Like it. Flanders, agreed. Anything to add on Cade?
I can't argue that, mate. Cade is just a great option there. And for a lot of guys, if you're going down from an SGA or going sideways from a Donovan Mitchell, from a 3 to a 4-game week, it's going to cost you nothing. So I like that move.
Rate it. Cade has only had 1 score under 28 in his last 9. Mm-hmm. So, and we're talking about a guy that has also gone plus 40 twice against Orlando, who do concede to guards. In the Patreon, you'll find we've got some articles obviously coming out as we do every week, but we're going to start doing a bit of a deeper dive into the matchups and the teams that concede a lot versus certain positions as well. So keep an eye out for that because, you come up against Orlando who concede the second most points per game to point guards. That's the kind of matchup you want to target, right? So we'll start bringing you that stuff too. But yeah, he's I would argue he's probably close to top of the list for me as well, probably top 2.
Good news on that, Braino, as well. Do you know who he played for his third game this week?
Is it Orlando?
Orlando.
Aye, we're on. He scored 46 against him last time he played him. So, yeah, nice little option there. Washington, he's not playing Washington at all this week, is he?
He is playing. I'll bring it up.
Indiana, Boston. Yeah, Indiana, Boston, Orlando, Miami. There is an Orlando, Miami back-to-back there. Just keep an eye out there. Orlando is the front half of the back-to-back.
Yeah, cup games. I think he'll play.
Yeah, I agree. Miami, Davion Mitchell, that'll be tough for him, but he's got size on him. So that's probably a little bit different to like a Donovan Mitchell or a smaller guard coming up against Davion Mitchell versus a 6'8" guy that's probably got at least 50 pounds on him. So
they're probably going to have to play Wiggins or someone if he's fit on him.
Yeah, they'd have to play someone bigger for sure. Anthony Edwards is the next one up. Now, obviously, he's been a little bit quiet, really, hasn't he? To kind of since he's come back from injury, anyway. He is the 21st most purchased player this week, so no one is looking at Ant Edwards. 121 break even, 15.9 mil. Flanders, if you're looking for someone and you can't afford Cade, he does come into that 4-4-3, which you spoke about, to be a little bit of an advantage come week 8. He's coming off a 41-point game, SuperCoach point game against Phoenix in his last outing as well. The problem is he can go low. There's 4 games here I'm looking at this season where he's gone 14 or under. So that's the risk that you take with Ant. He misses shots, but he can go large too. It's that ceiling game.
Yeah, exactly. The big ceiling is what you would be buying him for. He's not going to be the safest of safe picks here. Like he had his last game against Phoenix there was 41 points. I think you pretty well back him in for whatever you think he's going to score points-wise, and his history shows whatever he scores actual points is what he tends to score as SuperCoach. So all his negatives tend to be absorbed throughout steals, rebounds, and assists. So I back him in if you think he's going to go big in points. You go Sacramento, OKC, Boston, and San Antonio. So, yeah, there's obviously the OKC matchup's going to be a bit of a difficult one there. But Sacramento I think he's going to feast out there.
Yeah, completely agree. Sacramento are a complete fucking basket case. So, I'm here for it. Talk to us a mid-price option, Flanders. Who's your guy that's standing out to you this week?
I did not have one in front of me, mate. You
got a Knicks. Talk to us about a couple of the Knicks guys because they're pretty solid options.
I'm a big Karl Anthony Towns guy this week. Obviously, most of us are moving off a Giannis option here. Again, he's going to be a 4-4-3 guy. Big trend for me at the moment, liking that sort of setup, and I'm trying to set my team up for that week. His floor's proven to be really good. He's only had one game here, sub 20, where he gave 12, and that was against Milwaukee. Other than that, he tends to be doing a lot of getting on the boards a lot more. And scoring pretty comfortably. He's not sort of had any of these big scores leveraged off big scoring games, but we do that he can put up a double-double pretty easy with some big scores. A 30-point double-double is not uncommon for Cat, so I would be pretty keen on that. He also does get a pretty good run against big men here, Brooklyn and Charlotte here. So to start off the week, goes into Milwaukee and Toronto. So I think that's pretty favorable for him. And I think he does have the ability to go comfortably, 110, 120 this week.
Yeah, he's a guy that I'm very closely looking at. OG Anunoby coming back does poise maybe a little bit of risk there, that there's an extra usage that comes out of his hands. Mitch Robinson starting at center also kind of sucks. Like Cat would be a lock and load, and a guy that I probably would have started the season with if Mitch Robinson wasn't there and he was playing the 5 and not playing power forward. He just doesn't get those massive rebound games, and and his block numbers are way down on last year as well. So that's probably the one thing I'm a little bit cautious about. But yeah, I'm a Cat over a Duran to get that extra game could give you an advantage potentially. Horse, who you got next, mate?
Yeah, I'm not as high on Cat as what you boys are, just purely because of Mitch Robinson, and I think he takes away from him. He plays a lot more away from the rim. But give me someone that's $5 million less from the New York Knicks, who's been on fire lately, and that's Mikal Bridges. So we see what Bridges is doing, and I'm very closely looking at this guy here. He's only at 13 mil, 67 break even this week. But to give you an idea of his numbers, 26, 33, 28, and 27 since OG Anunoby's been out of the side. They're looking to him a little bit more for a bit of offensive punch, and he is someone that fills out the stat sheet as well. So, yeah, I don't think he's got the ceiling that Cat has, but I feel like he's a bit safer than what Cat is.
Yeah, I think you get more value for money. I don't know whether it's safer. We've seen Mikal Bridges also put up some absolute he's built houses, Mikal Bridges, with all the bricks. So my concern is more so that I think the volume of shooting's there, though. I think that's probably the safe thing. Like, if OG was back, and what if OG comes back at the back end of this week, 2 games into a 4-game week? That's maybe the one thing we need to find out is what the timeline looks like on OG.
I'll go hunting.
From what I've seen, I haven't been able to find tons. But, yeah, deadly big tour date guy. So, yeah, and that's probably the only risk is when it's not falling for Mikal. But at least you know he's going to play all 4 games. That's the one thing you can guarantee. He won't be missing. That's for sure.
No,
You will get a full week. OG Anunoby will be reevaluated at the end of next week.
Oh, good. So you've got a couple of weeks then out of Mikal Bridges. So rate that. That's handy. I mean, Brunson also probably an option if you wanted the main usage guy out of New York. One that I actually really like is from Indiana, and it is not Andrew Nembhard, and it's also not Benedict Mathurin. It's Pascal Siakam. Now, looking at Pascal Siakam's numbers, he is surprisingly putting up some really consistent scores. Now, he's not even in the top 20 purchase players right now, so I've got to try and search him. Here we go. 89 break even, 14.8 mil, so someone that is a little bit cheaper that you can run with. I'm looking at his last 5. He's gone 27 plus. He does have a 15 and a 10 in there, but I think since Andrew Nembhard's been back, it's actually helped his scoring more than anything, rather than hindered him. It's taken the attention away from Pascal Siakam now that Nembhard's back. And also Mathurin, of course. He is still the number 1 usage guy in this team, regardless of whether Mathurin or Nembhard have the ball in their hands. So for me, if I'm going to pick anyone from Indiana, I'm picking Pascal Siakam. The scores are solid. He gets his usage. The rebounds are nice as well. And you're getting a block or a steal a game too.
He doesn't rest either. He's one of those players that doesn't rest.
Yep. Really like him as an option this week. And you know when you just have a funny feeling about someone? You know, you're like, fuck, I just need to get him. I can't explain it, but I just feel like he's going to go big. For me, I feel like he is my gut pick this week. I can't really support it with any sort of data, but I just have a feeling he's going to go large. Flanders, anybody else, mate? We're giving you a little bit of time to research another guy. Who you got?
Yeah, I think probably the other guy I would be keen to go to is going to be either a Julius Randle, but I reckon I'm going to talk about Jalen Brunson. I reckon if you're not keen on the option of a Cat, but you still want to pick up a Nick for that run, Jalen Brunson's going to be the other good option here. In his last few games here, 36, 25, 22, 33. So big there. Only 15.4 million, so cheaper than pretty much most other guards we've spoke about tonight. And he proves he has that big ceiling here. And his floor is pretty safe here. He's at a 14, a 15, and a 16, but everything else is 20 plus. So I am a big fan of having that nice safe floor out of him there, but still with the ability to get a ceiling of 40, 36, 33 here. So, put him on a couple of 4-game weeks and a 3-game week here, 100 plus pretty easily on both those 4-game weeks. And then, take an 80, 90 out on a 3-game week when a lot of others are on 2s.
I like that.
Hey, Brian, I've got to bring this up. Deadly's had a gut feeling with someone before.
he gets upset when we mention it, but then brings it up himself. So it's fair game. It's game back on.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I can't wait for BBL to start so Deadly can, bring in another import player that does shit house. Scotty Barnes also, I guess, goes without saying. Scotty Barnes still a good option with Toronto's schedule. They go 4-4-2 or 4-4-3. Sorry, 4-4-3. So again, kind of suits the Flanders method of the way you're looking at the next 3-week schedule.
If you didn't pick up Barnes last week, I think he's a buy this week. And some people say that he's a tough watch, but for those that watched the Toronto Raptors game today, RJ Barrett left with an injury, and he, not too sure on the injury status there, but that's more ball for Barnes there. Barnes is a stat sheet stuffer, gets you plenty of defensive stats, but if he's got more ball and he's scoring more, then his points are going to, he might get 5 or 6 extra SuperCoach points per game more without RJ Barrett in the side.
Love that. Love that. Chris Gray in the chat mentioning the SuperCoach app. So for Indiana and for the 7 to 8 week transition, the 6 to 7 week transition, there's a 2-week period there that it goes over because of NBA Cup finals. So it might look like when you look at the schedule, the 4th game for Indiana falls on a Tuesday, but that is a 2-week period for SuperCoach. They've basically merged 2 of the weeks together because of the NBA Cup. So, yeah, your best method is just to look at the player and go back and have a look at how many games they've got each round based on what the schedule says inside the SuperCoach app rather than trying to work it out yourself.
And just in regards to Scotty Barnes there, Raptors waiting scans on the knee. So even if he is okay, you'd think if he's getting scans on a knee, he's probably resting or having a couple of games off anyway.
And there's a perfect little kind of promo for the Patreon because Kizar in the chat does it for us every week. Legend,
every day.
Gets all of the injuries every day. You never miss a thing inside the Patreon. The WhatsApp dings straight to your phone. So if you can't rely on the green dots and the red dots in SuperCoach for the American sports, for NFL and NBA. So if you want all of that information straight to your phone, Kiz is your man, and it's inside the Patreon. So less than $10 a month, you can get all that. You mentioned Randall Flanders. Matrix would want to talk about Randall because I think he might be buying him this week, and I can get around it. The one thing initially I don't love talking about Julius Randle because I just don't like him as a player. And he's like that Draymond Green for you, Horse, where you just fucking hate him and you just never want to buy him or own him in any sort of NBA fantasy. That's like Julius Randle for me. So I never look at him. But he's 15.9 mil. I was looking at his scores earlier. He's been ultra consistent this year. Like to a point where we're looking at Jalen Duren's numbers, we see a 40. Aside from we see a 40 and a 20 for Duren. We see the last 2 games he got a 9 and a 14, but before that he's put up 9 out of 11 games of 30 plus. Julius Randle before that little run from last week. So he's been pretty solid. Can you talk me out of him, Horse? Is there anything there that I'm missing?
A lot of that was without Ant.
Yep.
So he was playing like a point forward. There were 2 games there where he actually had triple doubles. And now that Ant's back, I think 2 of the last 3 games he's gone 14 and 9. So if I'm paying 16 mil for a guy, that floor scares me.
Yeah. The floor now sadly disappears with Ant back. He did put 35 up against Washington, but my nan could probably put 35 up against Washington. So that's probably the one concern for me about Julius Randle. But let's see if Matrix follows through on it. We'll hopefully get him to wear his 4th clan wig of the year that he hasn't got out of the box yet.
He's got a few stacking, doesn't he?
He does. Anything to add on any of these other guys, Flanders or anyone we haven't mentioned?
Yeah, I think probably the only one in the chat sort of pulled it up, and I haven't been able to find the guy from the team to bring in, but I wanted to, and that is Trey Murphy. He, again, Zion has been in and out, and he doesn't know what he's doing, let alone anything else. And Trey's had a real slow start to the year. I've got him in a couple of other formats, but he has been on fire recently. Ever since he dropped 47 against San Antonio there, he has not dropped below 20 until the game against Atlanta. But, of course, they knew who they needed to target there. He's going to have a ball of fun over the next few weeks. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm a big Trey Murphy guy. I've got him in a fair few fantasy leagues as well. I was looking at him. I put him up in Pod Watch last week and he did all right. So maybe he'll feature again. We didn't mention Jalen Duren, who's 6th most purchased. But here's my concern, and this is maybe a really petty concern, and I don't know whether it's relevant, but Jalen Duren the last 3 years, he has not averaged more than 13 points per game. And now he's averaging 21 points per game. So my question is this scoring real? Is this something that he can maintain? Because the rebound numbers are great. He always has been a good rebounder, a good shot blocker. But it's the point scoring that's given him this massive bump this year. Is it real, Flanders? Can he keep it up?
No, I don't think so. They've now got Ivy that's made his way back there. I think Cade's still the main point there. They've now got the team sort of coming out. I think he's going to have a bump over last year, but I don't think this is maintainable. He's in talks of MVP conversations here across a lot of different people. I just don't think he is that guy. I think he's broke out to start the year, and in most other fantasies, we'd probably sell high right now on Jalen Duren because I don't buy that this is maintainable.
Fair enough. Do you agree, Horse?
Yes.
Deep dive from the horse. You've heard it here first. Let's go and move on and have a chat about the trade targets for this week.
Targets acquired.
And of course, the trade targets every week are brought to you by Ryan from Astute Newstead. For those of you looking to get into the home loan market, maybe your rates are above 5.4%, you want to save some cash and put it back in your pocket, then Ryan's your guy. Does all of the work for you, all the heavy lifting, all of the negotiations, 40 lenders on panel, including all the major banks to get you the best deal, and it does not cost you a cent. So the link is in the description below. Thanks to Ryan for supporting the show. Just let him know that Insight sent you, and he'll look after you there.
Just before we continue on,
Yes.
one of our main men from the AFL and in the NBA, Stromy's in the chat. So this is his hat for anyone that needs concreting done in the Central Vic area. But unfortunately, his old man passed away, and the funeral's tomorrow. So Stromy, on behalf of Ball Logic and everyone here at Insight, all the best tomorrow. All our love is with you, mate.
Absolutely, well said. Sorry for your loss, Stromy, but thanks for jumping in the show regardless.
Our thoughts are in
Boys, Derek Queen. He is the most purchased player. I don't even know whether we need to talk about it. It's just do it and move on.
Yep.
Kate Cunningham, number 2. We've already given our thoughts on him. Jalen Johnson, 3rd most purchased player on a 3-game week. What are your thoughts on this, Horse? Are you using your trades to get 4-game week guys this week, or are you going for a guy like JJ who you know can put up a 4-game week score in a 3-game week? What's your thoughts?
I think there's better elsewhere. The scoring's there, but I think that you can potentially get an extra game out of someone that'll score similar to JJ. So if you bought him last week, hold him. But if you didn't, you can wait.
Coming up against Washington, Cleveland, Philly. Washington, he'll go well. Cleveland, he's probably going to be guarded by Evan Mobley. That's tough. That'll be a tricky little matchup for him. It'll be Hunter and Mobley probably just guarding the paint. And then Philly. That probably could be anything, so that's fine. But I wouldn't be buying Jalen Johnson this week. I'd get him next week if I had to. Just get him on the 4-game week and target the 4-gamer this week. Maybe there's a player that you want to target for 1 week and then move off of or move back to JJ. That's probably the way that I would approach that. Sure. 4th most purchased. Nikola Jokic has been in the top 5 most purchased players every week since week 1 because people are just going, I can't fade him any longer. 2.2% of players are getting him. Of course, this isn't the top 1%, Flanders, but it's just, how far gone do you have to be? Because he's nearly $30 million.
You got to be pretty far gone, I'll tell you that much. Because I know that the top 1% is owned by 99.9%. So that one guy, I tell you what, you have pieced together something I have not to have put yourself in the spots you have. And if you get Jokic in your team, you've got something to build there. But yeah, he's a must-have as far as I'm concerned now. He's got the 2-game week that everyone else has got, and other than that, his draw is just glorious because he goes 3-4-2, and then he has one of the best runs of 4-game weeks I think you could have ever drawn up for anybody coming after that. So yeah, is there much more to say other than buy Jokic?
Yeah, buy Jokic. That's the message. But also, that 2-game week, he's captain. He's just your captain in that 2-game week. You look at the other teams on the 3-game weeks in that week. There's not many. There's like maybe 6 teams playing 3 games, 7 or 8 maybe max. But honestly, I think Jokic is probably the most obvious captaincy on a 2-game week in that week. He could put you up close to 100. And honestly, he's just an automatic captain every week. Just doesn't make sense to take the risk anywhere else.
Nope, I don't think he moves off it for at least week 16 for me, and even then I can't see a world where it's after that. Good news, week 22, I think I'll risk it because he's got a 2-game week.
There you go. Hey, watch him fucking outscore everyone too. Horse did it to us the other week where I thought I did well, and then fucking Wemby was balling and then didn't play the final game, and then Jokic ended up beating him on a 3-game week. So that's just what Jokic does. He doesn't miss games and he scores well, and he rides horses.
You called it boring.
It is boring. It's terrible. I hate playing SuperCoach like this, but it's smart.
Yeah.
I believe we called Horse's pick safe.
Yeah, it is safe. Very safe.
It's safe and smart.
Mm-hmm. If safe gets me to 31 overall, you know what? Fair enough.
You just called me smart.
Yeah, that's the last time that's ever going to happen, I reckon. Benedict Mathurin, Horse.
Rate it.
5th most purchased. Is he your pick at Indiana?
Love it.
Would you get him over Siakam?
No.
Save the money? No?
I love him, though. I think there is an avenue there. He's a score first player, much like Donovan Mitchell. He doesn't have the bag when we're talking NBA basketballing skill like Donovan Mitchell, but at 10 mil, this is both a cash grab and someone that you can safely play on court this week.
58 break even this week. Probably goes 100 plus. Looking
Could
at the
double
numbers
that.
that he's put up, I mean, 4 out of the 5 games. You take out the injury affected game from this year, and the scores he's put up are 32, 27, 32, 23. Pretty bloody good for a guy at 10 mil. He's putting up $15 to $18 million price points for you in there. So yeah, you can save a bit of cash for Benedict Mathurin. Jalen Duran, 6th most purchased, completely fine. Con Knippel, number 7. People probably just correcting that one and not getting him. If you've not been able to get into him now, I completely rate still buying him. He's got a -9 break even at 8.9 million. I think he's had a minus break even for like the last 4 weeks. He's been he has been my rookie of the year so far. I know everyone's saying Cooper Flag and, these are generational talent, but Con Knippel has played 4 years above where he's at realistically as a rookie. He looks like a 5th-year player with the composure he has, Horse.
Yeah, he's unreal. It's probably a dead heat between him and Derek Queen at the moment for me.
Yeah. I think I think Derek Queen probably stuffs the stats a little bit more. And now that Brandon Miller's back, I think Con just gets a little less opportunity. Not much. He's still good enough to play and buy. But if you had to pick one, it's probably Queen, just due to the 4-game weeks and the fact he's more playable on court.
For sure.
Tyrese Maxey at 8, Cat at 9, Scotty Barnes at 10. So there's your top 10 most purchased players. I mean, look, I don't really think I can disagree with any of them. I think maybe it's just JJ that doesn't need to be bought this week and you can wait a week on, but the rest of them are on 4-gamers. Aside from Con Knippel, but he's a cash grab. Anything to add there before we move on to the sells, boys?
No.
Happy with that? Beauty. Giannis, goodbye. Most sold. Victor Wembanyama, 2nd most sold. Completely fine. Ryan Kalkbrenner. What's the news on Kalkbrenner's injury, boys? It's ankle, isn't it, at the moment? So technically ankle soreness, Flanders. Like, how do you look at an ankle soreness injury, especially for a big man? Like, there's a bit of risk there. He doesn't play for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, there is. And I think Charlotte know who Charlotte are. Musa Diabate is stepping in and playing some minutes there, and he does a pretty good job, all things considered there. Are they going to want to rush someone like Kalkbrenner back because they need him, because they need to get wins on the board because they're trying to be a play-in team or a playoff team? No. I think on the 50-50 call, they're probably going to be more conservative with this guy. He's a big man, and you've got a long career ahead of him. Play it safe with this guy.
And you've also got you've also got 2 centers behind him. Mason Plumlee just sitting there gathering dust. Like, it just doesn't make sense to risk him when you've got, he's still doing things.
You've also got the Charlotte Hornets history of Mark Williams being rested time after time. And like there's LaMelo Ball ankle injury, Brandon Miller injury. Like, the list goes on as to what Charlotte Hornets do. And even if it's only ankle soreness, he will rest for a while.
The 4th most sold player is Cedric Howard. He's on a 4-game week this week. He's 8 mil. He's got a 54 break even. Flanders says the cash ran out on Cedric Howard. Or do you think there's a little bit more there? Do you think he's playable this week?
I think he is playable this week. If you take the 2 out that he scored against Dallas there, it was 2 lots of 20s there, which I think a lot of people just look at the 42 he spat out at the end of the week. And when he gave me 42, this guy's crap, I'm going to trade him. But if he puts up 4 games of 20 this week, which is what his season average is across all of his games so far, he's going to spit out an 80, and I'll happily take that. It's what Ryan Rollins scored that this week, didn't he? Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And we love that.
Yep. And look, rookies are inefficient. Rookies are going to have down games. No, unless your name's Con Knippel, rookies are going to have quiet games. And Cedric Howard will have a quiet game. In saying that, though, surely, Horse, no Ja Morant, questionable Jaren Jackson Jr. There's too much usage there for Cedric Howard to score too poorly. He rebounds really well, which kind of brings his base up, his floor up a little bit, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. I sold him a couple of weeks ago to facilitate getting Maxey. It was last week, Maxey into my side. I think there's better, though, at that price to bring in, and if this video gets to 50 likes before the end of the show, I'll reveal who I think that should be.
Oh, what a man. Yeah, I'm going to hold. I think I'm going to hold Cedric Howard this week, but he comes into a 3-game week next week when nearly every fucking team in the NBA is on a 4. So this will probably be the last week that I have him before I move him next week. So if you need to move 1 week earlier to get the play, completely fine. Mattis Bazelis is the 5th most sold. I'm also completely fine with moving on Mattis Bazelis. He has that ankle injury that he has played through, but I just have a feeling that maybe there might be some resting coming in his near future. Patrick Williams is doing a completely fine job off the bench there for Bazelis, and as high as I am on him, the scores, he has been pretty inefficient, and the negative stats and the misses are really hurting him. So now Kobe White back, there's just even less usage to go around, Horse. So it's just I loved him at the start of the year, but it's just probably time to move on from Bazelis.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yep.
Flanders, what about VJ Edgecombe? He's the 6th most sold player. I'm kind of surprised at this. 7.5 mil. He's only got a 20 break even this week. Maybe people are just getting a 4-gamer on court because they needed to play him on court and they've got someone else stuck on their bench they don't want to play. But if you weren't in that position, would you hold, or is it time to move on?
I moved on a few weeks ago off him. I just didn't. It was a piece that needed to move, and he had the money on his head, so he was out. I think he's still performing well enough to be that guy. I am concerned seeing that Jared McCain has now come back and actually put up some reasonable points in some recent games. He put up, I think, 15 today. So he's showing a bit of form there. I don't think it's going to eat into VJ too much, and I don't see him moving to the bench or anything wild like that. But I do think that now they have some reserve options there. That means that they can probably manage his minutes a bit more if they need to, or at least manage usage.
Yeah, I'd probably tend to agree usage comes down, but move him if you have to, but probably a nice little hold there, and you can spot start or play him when you need to over the next couple of weeks when Philly go back on a 4-gamer. Cooper Flagg is the 7th most sold, 9 million. This I would avoid. I just feel like he's getting better and better every week, Horse. Like he's putting up 30-plus type scores, and you don't often get them from anybody sub 10 million. I think there's way more cash to make out of him yet.
Yes, just hold him. With Davis back, he will be better as well.
AJ Mitchell, I'm fine with you moving off to AJ Mitchell, especially on 2-3 game weeks in a row for OKC, so that's fine. Stephon Castle's injured, so that's also fine. The last one I want to talk about before we move on to captaincy, which will probably take all of 3 seconds, is Denny Avdia. Now, people are he's the 10th most sold player, Denny Avdia. Your Horse, mate, I'd love your opinion on this because you're toying around with whether you want to keep him or whether you want to move him on. Tell us your thought process.
I want to keep him because of the schedule. I want to sell him because today fucking scared me. That 4. You know, when we're paying this sort of money for players like 14 mil, 15 mil, whatever he is, you're expecting a base of 20, 25, you know. When you see a 4, you're like, holy fuck, what am I doing with this guy? But it's the OKC thing. Like they're just, it's hard to explain. They're just so good on defense.
Yep.
And they just restrict a lot of people.
And you made a good point. They play OKC, Portland play OKC in the final game of this week. So Flanders, does that maybe create a little bit more risk there? Do you think he can go that low again? I personally think this is an outlier rather than something that you can expect to happen again. Because you look at the rest of his scores, he's fine. But does it scare you enough to move him on?
Yeah, I think it does, because if he puts up it's probably not going to be a 2-game week, but even a 2.5-game week score this week. Okay, you get him for 4 the week after, but you get him for 2 the week after that. Yes, you play Sacramento both games in that week, which is an all right schedule to say the least. But we're actually probably looking here at, I think you just back OKC, and even if he only spits out a 15 here, 2.5, 3, like 2.5, 4, then a 2-gamer. I think I could move him on and make more money. He's probably going to stay stagnant over the next 4 weeks anyway, so it's not even a cash play here.
Here's where I'll play devil's advocate, because I will hold him and I don't have a problem holding him. Now, my thing is no Drew Holiday, right? Like, I feel like with Denny just being such a high usage guy, he gets boards, he gets assists, he gets steals, he gets blocks. So for me, for him to go sub 10 needs to be a generationally shitter night. Like, and that's what we saw. We saw it against OKC. They're so good. Like, it's just borderline unfair. We're talking Penrith Panthers fucking type stuff here for those of you NRL fans. But I'm looking at the schedule. He goes 3 this week. Milwaukee, you should have a pretty good game against. The Spurs, they're a bit of a mess, so I'm pretty confident he can go okay against them. And OKC, let's just kind of write that off. But we look at the week after, he goes 4. Everyone's on a 2, which is a back. Just remember, this is a 2-game week, right? But it is a back-to-back against the Kings. 2 games in a row against Sacramento. And then you go 4, 4, 4, 4 the next month. So for me, I'm kind of looking at it going, if I trade him out, am I going to want him back? And I probably will. And I'm fine with somebody trading him out and bringing him back in because you kind of have to play that way for NBA SuperCoach when you can max trade. But for me, I'm looking at it going, well, 5 of his next 7 weeks are 4-game weeks. Sorry, 5 of his next 8 weeks are 4-game weeks. And the scores that he put up before this, 33, 41, 17 was a down week, probably the floor. 32, 20, 30, 25, 41, 35. This is the kind of stuff that he started to put up. And I genuinely reckon it's pretty consistent. So for me, I'm looking at it going, the 4 is an outlier. He'll go back to being a 25 to 35 point scorer. So let's see how this ages over the next couple of weeks. Horse, you're against him, I'm for him, and let's see who wins. And if you look at our ranks, you take Horse's advice. I think it's pretty
this is why Braino is the voice of reason too.
Yeah, I don't know whether the voice of reason works though when you're 31st. Just do what Horse says. You follow the luck. You follow the run at the moment. And when I overtake you in round 19, maybe people can start listening to me. But until then, you're the man.
Good luck, champ.
He's champ.
He got champ.
We better move on to captaincy.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
Jokic, the end. No, it's obviously him on a 3-game week opens it up a tad more. So I'm just going to look at the most popular captaincy. It's Jokic at 35%. Let's have a look at the top 1% and just look, or maybe the top 5% of teams and see what this kind of breaks out to be. 90% captain on Jokic, 5% on Cade Cunningham, and then literally less than 2% for everything else. So it's Cade, it's Jokic. Anybody else? Who are we talking about here?
Yeah,
Jokic. Yeah,
It's Jokic.
I mean, I don't mind the Cade shout if I was extremely confident that he was going to play 4 games.
Yeah.
Because I think that he can be a 150 scorer this week. Yep. He's
If he plays 4
matchups
games
too. Yeah.
There's a fair bit of chat in the comments about the fact that there's word going around that he won't play back-to-backs. I'm not sure where, I haven't seen it, so I can't confirm that. But there is a risk. If there's a back-to-back for Detroit, there is a risk he sits, especially coming off the back of a couple of week injury. He is their guy, so they're going to need to make sure he gets through the rest of the season. If he is, let's just say, for instance, we get word before tomorrow that there is every chance he does rest the back-to-back, does that change your trade tactics or just captaincy?
It just changes my trade tactics for me.
I wouldn't get him if I know he's going to sit a back-to-back.
Yep.
Which means I wouldn't, obviously not going to captain him either. Because there's another few options there at guard, but the problem is no one really comes close. You're better off just buying Luka and just hoping he goes ballistic on a 3-gamer rather than, I don't know whether anybody comes close to Cade this week on a 4-game week.
No.
So a bit of a tricky week to navigate with captaincy, but I think, look, the moral of the story is you don't need to get too spicy with captaincy, knowing that you've got a guaranteed 47, 48 point scorer per game. Jokic will put you up 150 in a 3-game week, and that's a great captaincy score. The last thing you want to do is chase some upside, and then Cade plays 3 games and scores 36 a game, and he gets you 108, 118, or whatever it ends up being, when you could have taken 150 and it'd be safe. So I hate playing SuperCoach this way, but it's just a smart move to take the best player because he's the best player by a fair margin when there's no Giannis and no Wemby.
No.
The other part is it could be worse. Cade's only averaging 30 on the year. Cade puts up 3 games of 30. It's only 90. That doesn't double as well as 150 does.
Surely doesn't. No, you're 120 points behind there straight away. So
quick maths.
Not a deal. Yeah,
Quick maths.
Yeah. Boys, that'll bring us to the end. Horse, any final words, mate? What's the plan for this coming week? What are you thinking?
Oh, definitely not boosting. But I will
Pussy.
be Yeah, I am because I want to save some of them. But I do only have 6 4-game players on the court this week. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But very happy with my trades at the moment, which will be inside the Patreon. 6 mil in the bank too, so I can get back to the SGAs and Luca in a couple
Love
of weeks'
that.
time.
I think I'm going to go balls to the wall this week and see if I can play a bit of catch up. I feel like I'm a bit behind, but I'm only a couple of 100 points behind. So if I can have a big week this week, I can really close that gap. I'm also looking ahead like Flanders to week 8 so that I can probably try to get ahead on a couple of these week 8 3-gamers so I don't get caught too short having to chase my tail in week 8 to get anybody decent on court. So that's probably where my trades will go. Prioritizing Knicks, Minnesota, those kind of teams that are playing 3 games in that week. I think the one thing to look at though as well, Flanders, on the back of that is the teams that are playing 3 games in week 8 are also all playing 3 games in week 9. So you're playing like 2-4 versus 3-3. So it's the same amount of games over that fortnight period between week 8 and week 9. But it just depends on how you plan your trades the week after.
Yeah, it's definitely something to consider and just look at what that schedule looks like. Like the Knicks are 4-4, 3-3, 4-4, so they run straight out of 3s into 4s. Atlanta do the same thing, 4-3-3, 4-4, so straight back into them. The other part is if you at least run 3s, you have a chance to trade out of that into guys that are on 4s. And it could be a week to use a boost. There's still a few 2-game weeks that lie around, but plan ahead, guys, and jump into the Patreon. Have a look at the schedule map that Braino wonderfully put in there for us. It makes life planning so much easier. I've got it on my phone, my computer. I got it everywhere. I'm making sure my team is structured as best as possible. So in theory, I'll succeed.
Did you tell the missus it's your screensaver? Like your phone wallpaper?
iPhones give me the ability to have like 3 different ones, so I swipe across, and she never sees.
Smart. Good.
Yeah.
You know ball. Guys, that'll wrap us up. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, give it a hype if you like the show and you want to help us. 50 likes, Horse? Did we get there?
Let's check.
Because you were going to say your replacement.
No, we're at 36. So unfortunately, only the people inside the Patreon will know I think it's a must-have at less than 7.5 million this week, who scored almost 90 last week, and I think will generate cash and also score well for people at home.
Love that. All right. Well, we're up to 37. Didn't get to 50 likes, but maybe we'll drop it tomorrow potentially. We'll see if we can get up over that 50 like mark by the end of tonight. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, like the Patreon links below, guys. Less than $10 a month if you want access to everything that we do. Plenty of articles. Buy, hold, sell will be coming. Pod Watch is also coming for all the players under 10% that we like for the week. Captain's article probably will be non-existent for the rest of the season. We'll come up with something else. But we'll be also talking through the teams that you should target for positions as well, because I think that's going to be quite relevant moving forward. Guys, good luck this week. Good luck for week 6. Hopefully you can find some green arrows. We'll be back to wrap it all up and talk week 7 next week. See you then.
Yeah.